From Kontrol Freek, spelled with a K, we've got an entire line of thumbstick enhancement products, if that's what you call these things. Like Fps Freak. And you can note, they will elevate your thumbsticks, giving you a supposed 40% increase in the range of motion. I like that there's 3 different lines: the Fps Freak Prestige, and Fps Freak Legendary. This should be fun. Let's try all of these things. Oh, don't forget, there's also TD Freak and Hoops Freak, as well as Speed Freak. Let's start with Fps Freak. I'll take these out of the packaging and install them on a controller. While they don't specify any particular brands on the packaging, the Kontrol Freek line of products fit well on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 controllers, on top of the analog sticks. And as you see, when you get this thing on there, nice and snug, it increases the vertical height of the analog stick. And that's where it gives you an improved range of motion. Whether or not it helps your game is entirely subjective, I think, but it certainly increases the range of motion like they claim. Also, it has a rubberized, grippy surface on the top. Here's the Fps Freak being installed on top of the Xbox 360 analog controller. I'm going to now put this onto another controller, which I just featured on Classic Game Room, the OnLive controller. Snaps right into place. Check that out. So if you're playing a first-person shooter and you're aiming, you can get a little bit more control with these things. Something you might want to try out. They don't cost very much. What's impressive is when you play with these, they actually don't fly off the thumbsticks. You'd think they would, but they have a surprising grip on them, onto the actual analog thumbsticks themselves. I'm sure there's somebody out there who immediately thinks, does it work on the Dreamcast controller, which is this hard plastic thumbstick, and sadly it does not. It's just a little bit too large to fit on the Dreamcast controller, so sorry guys. Kontrol Freek will have to go back to the drawing board for this. There are some differences between the 3 Fps Freak models. The base model here is concave and has little rubber nubbins, as you can see. The Prestige model is also concave and has a little design on it with a skull and an explosion or something and swords. And the Legendary model is convex. You see that? It bends outwards. And it's solid. It's also rubberized and has a little skull with swords and stuff on it as well. Increasing length, increasing performance. I know it sounds wrong, but I'm just going to keep saying it. Note that you can mix and match these things if you'd like one to be convex and the other to be concave. The TD Freak and the Hoops Freak are basically the same thing except with a basketball and football design. So check this out. Now the thumbsticks are orange to match the rest of the coloring on the OnLive controller. And last but not least, we have the Speed Freak. These are probably the most interesting and definitely change the handling characteristics of the controller more than the other ones, but as you can see, depending on how you drive, they give you more of the thumb pad to actually grip wrapped around your thumb. The Kontrol Freek line of products are aimed at those who are hypercritical about their controllers and look for any edge that they can get in battle, particularly with first-person shooters, which is where I find these made the most sense because, as you can see, you are able to make more refined, subtle movements when aiming. I've personally never really had a problem with the thumbsticks on the PS3 or 360 controllers, but one controller does come to mind that could definitely use some improvement, and that's the Atari 5200 controller. And, well, no, doesn't look like it fits on that, so it's not entirely universal.